You a fucking...
Ooh, yeah, but I don't have that open right now.
Well, that's your fault.
Well, yeah. So, last session. First, we had Declan following Murin, discovering that he was Tira's brother, and then defending him against two attackers. He left a note for the preacher with one in the hand of one of the, or the severed hand of one of the attackers, and took Murin to the temple to be with Tira and hopefully help them both escape down the line. Before meeting up with the crew, finding out what happened, and the kind of rough time that they'd had. Then, after much sort of debate, they ended up going to the library in order to basically research what they could about all the various religious holy symbols and that kind of thing. So they first discovered that Makud can't read and requires, and so Makud basically got someone to read for him and terrorized a man into explaining how exactly to look after baby wyverns, and found that, much to his disdain, rather than the library being a helpful place where you can learn things, it was just full of books. Declan discovered a few things about the Lashed, the preacher's god, and Mina discovered nothing. Bryn, I can't remember if Bryn found anything or not.
She didn't really look for anything.
No.
She's not big on book learning.
She can't read a shari.
Oh, there's that as well.
Yeah. Sensitivity in this matter, please.
Well, that wasn't... I forgot. I'm sorry. And then after that, I'm just looking at what else. Oh, yes, you purchased the Mirage Inn. And basically from Ina or Ina, I can't remember which it is now. And you returned the rose quartz to the Bell Witch.
You did forget how we afforded said purchase of the Mirage.
Extorting Shal Ab Ajana. Or, being paid fairly for the services rendered. Mm-hmm. Depending on who you ask. Apart from that, you bought the Mirage. You looked at the clues and journal that was found, presumably belonging to whoever the guy was who brought the sandworm into the Vicar. I think that's about it. Oh, you also sent a bird to ask Dune to return, to come talk to Declan, because Declan wants to talk to him, apparently.
I did?
Well, you said something like, we should ask Dune about that, and then Arashmina was all, we could just ask a bird to get him to come back if it's really important or whatever, but we never actually discussed why Declan wanted to talk to him, and it was sort of only mentioned offhand, and then...
I wanted to talk to Sharat.
Yeah, well, that's the thing that's happening too, but yeah, you did... Because I was like, I'll go find a bird, I guess. And I was like, what am I saying? And it was just, we want to talk to him. And so I was like, okay, tell Naran's Dune we want to talk to him. And that's pretty much the entire message.
Well, I thought I remembered that he was going off to find the preacher, right?
He's going off to the Oasis. And so you wanted to talk to him about that.
Well, I mean, just that we should go together. There's no reason for him to go himself.
Yeah, I agree. But... he had already left at that point. But yeah. Anyways, we did that. We did do that.
All right. So we're going to start in the morning. First thing, you'll maybe stay the night in the Mirage, or
I would have gone to try to
Probably
talk
not.
to Sherrod that night if possible, but
okay, yeah,
But he was supposed to be in.
yeah. He's in a council meeting at the moment,
For
which
several
often,
days.
yeah, which often lasts days.
okay. Gotcha.
Which can last days.
Often do.
Often do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so yeah, you probably think like it might be maybe a day or two before you get to speak to him.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know if you guys would want to camp out in the Mirage. It's pretty horrible at the moment.
Would probably spend most of the days that he's waiting to speak with Sherrod, getting all of his stuff out of the apartment and setting himself up in the basement.
So you would just wait then?
Yeah, no, he's not going to do anything else other than like get his base of operations set up so that he has his lab and his equipment where he wants it. Sorry,
you don't want to go to like Murin gave us the location for the trapper. You don't want to take care of that while we wait for Sherrod. You want to talk to Sherrod for first.
I was kind of hoping to have some ducks in a row before we go headlong into danger. But
yeah. Cool.
Okay. So what does everyone do for the 1 to 2 days? I would say first thing then, a few hours after dawn, a bird flies up to the window, knocks its way in, or comes in through an open door or whatever, finds Abrishmina, and kind of like pecks her awake maybe. And you hear Dune's voice just coming through. He says, Abrishmina, I am climbing. It's quite dangerous. Does he need to speak to me urgently? And then the bird just kind of looks at you expectantly.
Do I get the impression that this is a conversation happening live, or is this bird carrying
so the bird is basically playing you a recording of...
Okay. And so she will reply, my friends do not think that it is wise for you to seek the preacher alone in the desert, and we should go together.
The bird just gives you like a little quizzical look and then takes off.
Okay. And see.
Yeah. So what does everyone do for the 2 days?
When did we buy the inn, the Mirage?
Yes.
Was that at the end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
or was it during the middle of the day?
that was like midday.
It was like, I think
Evening.
early afternoon, yeah. Like 1, 2-ish probably.
Right. So, does Declan clean the place up at all, or does he like start moving his stuff over immediately?
Oh no, he'd try to conscript everyone to like lend a hand, like cleaning, repairing,
Sure.
things like that.
Will you guys be looking to hire staff?
Eventually.
So I guess McCood does the heavy lifting. I imagine Declan has some heavy things that need carrying across town by someone who won't, get
Steal them.
exhausted
Yeah.
or steal them. And maybe any, larger, heavier jobs. I don't know the disrepair of this place particularly, but like he kind of like will help and do something and then kind of get bored or distracted and do something else for a bit until someone comes and like puts him back on task again, I think. And if this is going to take days, he'll probably end up back at the butcher shop drinking for some of it.
Oh, well, here's a fine idea. Makut, why don't you... we set you to the task for the next day of acquiring liquor for our establishment. I'd have thought that it would be right up your alley.
No, that was more like me going, "Oh, that's not a good idea." Makoud is like,
Yeah.
"I can do that for you."
Do you think, Brynhild, would you mind accompanying Makoud? I think you might be better with numbers and negotiations. I think the two of you would make an excellent pair in sales and acquisitions, as it were.
All right. I can certainly get us the best deals.
Absolutely.
So you would know, just from experience, Bryn, that if you're looking to buy things wholesale, especially booze and that sort of thing, it's going to be done at the docks, not the same docks that you sent off the slaves on, the sort of main docks right at the north tip of the city. That is basically like a huge, expansive market that people just basically like drag the shit off their ships and just set up stalls like right by the ships. So it's this huge, like, bustling marketplace that's completely different vibe to the one right inside the city.
Okay. I guess we'll head that way then.
Okay. So you walk down and you see like rows and rows of ships. Like, this dock is huge. And there are maybe like 100, 200 stalls just kind of everywhere. And it's most of them are just like 2 crates set up with a load of like stuff and bottles and things to try and samples, and like everything else still on the ships. There's a few that are kind of further out that have like big storage boxes and shelves and that sort of thing. But most of these are very like, let's just get here, sell our stuff and go sort of thing. A lot of like lamenters who don't like the look of or don't like the intense Ashari heat and that sort of thing. And so they sort of operate as quickly as possible to get out of it. Make me a quick investigation check if you like.
20.
Okay, yeah, you see a very, very large stall, currently with no queue. And at the outset, it looks to be like a purveyor of sort of barrels of liquors of all kinds. Like, you can see like a big sign that's kind of mentioning like wine, ale, spirits, like from a bit further up north than you'd expect to make it all the way down to Ashar.
I'll approach that one.
I'm glad you came because I rolled a 0.
Oh God!
Wah, wah.
It's distracted by a butterfly and chases that instead. Yeah, so this guy who's kind of behind the stall is like looks kind of like your quintessential pirate. He's got kind of a pointy black beard, a bandana over his head, and like a really sunburnt neck and cheeks, and he's sort of peeling along the nose. And he kind of turns to you as you approach. Is, well, what can I do for you?
We're actually just recently purchased a property, and we'd like to stock the bar.
Oh, you want liquor? I can do that. And he sort of like turns and begins kind of lifting up bottles and placing them on the sort of bench to show you. And he says, what kind of things you looking for?
We're probably...
Guy from Brooklyn?
No, not particularly, but he's got a sort of mismatched accent that may or may not have some Brooklyn in it. Who knows?
Sorry.
No worries.
Probably a good variety. Probably some of little cheaper stuff and a little bit more expensive stuff.
He sort of gives you like a shrug and a nod, like that's not very helpful, and just continues.
Probably some ale, dwarven, if you have it.
Yeah, we got that. And he sort of like kind of points to like a stack of 2 or 3 barrels that are sort of dark wood barrels, but they've got these kind of gold bands around them that dwarven ale often has. Though you would know those bands are gold plated; they're not actually gold. But it's the aesthetic that the dwarves like.
Some wines for the fancier folk.
Yeah, he nods and points to crates. Look, we got everything. Just tell me how much you need and what you need, and we'll go. How much ale?
1 million ale.
We think a couple barrels.
McCord is kind of just like looking, I think, at various stock and barrel, and like people would appraise a wine by like lifting it up or something. He's just like lifting barrels up and just like looking at them.
And the salesman's like, "Hey,
No problem.
hey, careful, you haven't bought it yet." Sort of puts a hand up towards you.
He kind of like he looks down at him and he's just holding like the cask in one hand, and like looks down. How often do you come to port?
Every 6 months or so.
Ooh,
How much do we need for 6 months?
Depends how busy you're going to be, but I would say like 4 or 5. I'll probably do you.
Casks of each. The dwarf ale, the wine,
some
the
spirits.
rest.
Yeah, I'd say. Spirit's a bit less, but they're more expensive.
And what would something like that run us?
Well, that depends right there. The Dwarven Ale has 45 a barrel. The wine, that's gonna run you 50 for a crate of 12 bottles. You got the spirits. Well, you're looking at whiskey. The higher end's gonna top out 80 gold. Lower end, we're looking at 30, but that's a little bit smaller barrel. As for all the other stuff, ranges in between, but yeah, you're generally looking about 50, 60 for those.
He definitely is like. You said something about Northern Lament or something. He's not from here.
No, he's not
Do
sure.
I? Yeah. Do I get the idea it might? Because McCood, who is a Gunfowler expert, would get the idea it's better to go somewhere else for that.
Oh yeah, you wouldn't buy Kamfala from this guy.
Sure. As good as it is to have foreign export, Gunfowler is an old classic, and
Yeah, and
Your
it's
bar
like
has to have
it's
some.
cheap as chips in a
Yeah.
shop. It's like espresso in Italy.
He just like he reels off all of that, and McCood, still holding the barrel, is like turns to Bryn like, "How much is that?"
It's too much.
Hey,
You
these are
sure?
the best prices you're gonna find around here. I can tell you that.
And you've got just about everybody at this dock beating down your door to buy it, I can see.
Well, that's just poor quality items being charged at slashed rates. It's obscene.
I'm sure that's exactly what it is.
Hey, I'm just trying to make a living here.
So am I.
Well, come on. Tell me what you want. We can try and do business.
Well, I'm thinking that maybe you could become our exclusive provider of fine ales and wines and spirits.
And he's like
Or-
sort of like straightens up slightly and kind of looks down his nose at you, like, "Oh, interesting."
I mean, for a historical inn that is being renovated and brought back to the height of its popularity.
So
Maybe-
let's talk numbers.
Let's talk numbers. You say the ales
45.
a barrel. Could we get that
That's
closer
the
to?
dwarven.
That's the dwarven, which is the best stuff. You and I both know that. Come on.
Correct.
I mean, I've been here a little bit, but these guys, they don't know ale. Can we get that down to maybe 25?
25. Oh, I only
What
buy
are
this
you-
stuff for 20.
I mean, you're still making a profit.
I gotta say 35's the bottom on that.
I mean,
For the
30,
dwarven, I can't go lower.
30 in an exclusive deal. You're going to be our only. Every 6 months, you're gonna pull in the port, and you know you're gonna have a customer waiting for you.
Should have like strokes his chin a sec. Okay. This deal.
All right, 30 a barrel.
30 a barrel. This deal's gonna include other stuff or just these barrels?
Oh no, man! We're now we're gonna talk wine, and then we're gonna talk spirits, and see you in 6 months.
So how many of each are you looking to buy?
Well, you said 5 barrels will get me the.
I would say that's a good amount.
All right. What are you thinking for the wine? Probably.
Well, wine in a shop pretty popular when they ain't drinking that. Ugh.
The fancy folk, right?
Yeah. So, but you drink less wine, so probably about the same, I would say.
Yeah, five of the cases or whatever.
Yeah, they're 50 each. Starting price.
Maybe we can do. How good is this wine?
Well, for the 50s, that's pale wine. That's good.
All right.
But we got some cheaper stuff if that's what you're interested in.
I don't know shit about wine.
I mean, Makud does if it has sleeping drugs in it.
What is wrong with this wine? It is not making me sleep. You've sold us trick wine.
This wine would not kill a man. What is this?
Can you get the wine at 30 a case?
For the Vale wine?
It's Vale wine.
Okay. You buy 5 ale, 5 wine, 5 spirits, and we'll say 30 each
For the spirits?
For the wine and the ale, 40 each for the spirits. That's the best I can do.
35 for the spirits.
Exclusive deal.
Exclusive deal, 6 months.
Every 6 months.
All right, 6 months, man. We're gonna be sitting here waiting for you. You get guaranteed, you know you're gonna sell it. And honestly, if historic place, we're probably gonna be needing more of this shit.
As you say that, like Makud kind of like leans down into the conversation. Make it 10 spirits.
10 spirits. There you go. 35. Are you paying for the extra?
Kind of like. I imagine he has like a couple of like little coin pursey things, and he kind of like tosses one of them down on the table as.
Yeah, so that would be 650 gold in total.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, all right, you buy that every 6 months. We got a deal. Holds out his hand.
Makud like looks at him and goes, like puts his hand like down on the table, not like aggressively, but kind of just like leans against the table, and there's probably like an ominous creak. And he's like, now have you got anything real special?
He slowly withdraws his hand. Roll me a d20, Dan.
Unlucky 13? I don't know.
Okay.
Unlucky 13?
Yeah. He kind of regards you for a moment and then gives you a nod. It's expensive though. And he reaches down and pulls up what looks like a jar. It's about the size of like a human head, conveniently. And you see that it's got sort of weird square shapes written on the label, which are dwarvish. And he places it on the desk, and it's this like bright orange liquid. like some kind of horribly processed energy drink type stuff. And you see there's like a weird shape sitting at the bottom of it.
Does he kind of like hold it up to Makud, or can he kind of like shake it and try and discern the shape?
Yeah, so he's holding it. He's not letting anyone touch it.
Sure.
But you can have a look in. Make me I don't know, like perception, investigation, whichever of those sorts of things Makud would be best at.
Perception is a 22. Investigation is a 16.
Okay.
Roll.
So it looks like some kind of weird snake is in there.
And you said there were dwarven runes. Not that he knows that, but
Yeah.
sure. What is it?
This
And you could see the orange glow reflected in his eyes.
yeah. This is straight from Trest. You can't get this unless you're a dwarf or a charming sailor such as myself. And he's like leaning in close, like like admiring it, like kind of putting his head next to Makud's. And he says, deep in their minds, in those mountain dwarf mines, yeah, they got these giant magma, lava-filled pits where they make all the weapons. And sometimes in there, right, they get these crazy snakes. I don't know what they call them, lava snakes or something, but there's these snakes, right? And the snakes crawl in the lava, and then they catch the snakes. And they make booze of them. And this shit, blow your fucking head off.
How
What's
the hell
it
did you get a
called,
bottle?
Dan?
Sorry,
Pardon?
what?
What's it called, man?
Too many people talking at once. What did you say, Jade?
I wanted to know how he got his hands on it.
And C wanted to know what it's called.
Yeah, but Steve's not there, so, you know.
Got my notes.
Yeah, he says, well, let's just say I got friends in high places underground. Or, well, fairly low places because they're underground. I got some friends, they hooked me up.
Have I ever heard of Mystic Mountain?
Make me a history check with maybe advantage? Yeah, why not? It's like kind of thing a bar would know about.
Right?
And
Is
you're
that-
from the north, so
That's going to be a 23.
yeah. So you've definitely heard of this before. It's got quite a few names, but the most sort of common one that the dwarves call it is mine wine. It is like, you know, no one drinks it except dwarves and nutters. And you know, it's like the sort of thing where you like belch smoke and like it's crazy spicy and like genuinely like kills like 1 in 4 people who drink it.
So I'm not going to press you for how you got your hands on a bottle of mine wine. But what I am going to ask you is you're going to look at my friend and you're going to look how big he is. And you're going to think to yourself, do I really want him to go batshit crazy when he drinks this?
I mean, he probably wouldn't go batshit crazy.
How many people have you known that have drank that weren't dwarves that didn't go crazy or wind up dead?
I'll be honest, it's 0.
Mhm.
But
Uh-huh.
I mean, look at the size of him. He could outdrink a dwarf.
Maybe, maybe not. I mean,
Hey, I'm not trying to force it on you. If he wants to buy it, he can buy it. If he doesn't want to buy it,
my friend
have
wants
to buy
something
it.
special. My friend wants something special. I mean, and you go, and that's what you pull out. You go straight for that.
He did want something special.
What else
And
did he
this-
get? I mean, unless Makud, unless you want it. I mean, if you want it, I mean, I'm hope he's going to give it to you at a fair price. I mean,
Makud's like looking back between the two of them, like some child caught between his parents. Like,
It's something that you've got to experience at least once in your life. You know,
Mm. Even if it is the last thing you experience in your life.
those are usually the best.
Oh, he kind of like he's getting thoughtful now, so you know it's going to take him a while.
Yeah. He like puts it down on the table, but leaves a hand kind of protective of the other. He's like,
Oh.
apart from that, not much. I got some, you know, some crystal wine from River Elves, but that's, you know, it's not particularly special. It's just expensive. If you're looking for special, this is the specialist shit you're gonna find. If you're looking for expensive, I can do that, but I think we both know that's not what you're into.
McCood kind of like stretches up and out, and like basically kind of like flexing, and he kind of like scratches his head a little bit. If we kill people in our new bar, it probably won't be good for business.
I mean, you could dilute it.
Or
You
it'll
know.
be really good for business.
You know, I
Depending
reckon
on
you
the-
mix this with what, like a shot of this with a pint of water. That'd probably go down
Yeah, we
all right.
could cut it.
Hey,
Yeah,
it's
as long as we don't
I'm
get
not
that
trying to
reputation.
run your business for you. I'm just telling you how it is. If you want to buy it, it's here. If not, so many others will pay.
What's the
Very good.
cost? What are you asking for it?
Now, if this was just anyone, I'd be asking $250. No problem. Just for the job.
Seriously?
You're not just anyone. Hey, I haven't finished. You're not just anyone.
No, we're not.
150.
It's up to you, man. 150. Mine wine once in a lifetime.
So you think we could sell this, like, by the shot, diluted in a pint of water?
Maybe
That
a
could
bucket.
go a long way.
How many bottles of this have you sold here in this town?
Of this is
Yeah.
my only bottle. But, well, I've sold this before a couple times. Never to anyone over here, though. Guarantee you, this is the first bottle of mine wine ever found in a shop. Guarantee it. You see any dwarves around here?
One.
People would go crazy for this shit
They would.
back home.
Hey, I mean, you're starting a new bar. There's tons of bars in town. How
Could
you
be our
gonna stand
gimmick.
that?
Yeah, it could be our gimmick.
That McCood is like nodding at that because he knows about having a gimmick, basically selling yourself, selling the image. Well, he's looking at Bryn and he goes 150, and then we sell it for, and he just like gets like lost in the maths for a moment.
I mean, in
a shot.
interest, they sell this $5 a shot. But that's interest.
I would say we could probably get 10 to 20.
Yeah, easy. Plus, there's a few hundred shots in there. And if people are coming from all over the city to try out the famous mine wine, well,
let's get it.
All right.
all right. So that's going to be 800 gold overall. Now, if you want more of this mine wine, I can do that. But,
See
it's
how
gonna
this
have to be
sells
the same
first.
price. All right. I'll, in 6 months' time when I'm back, I'll make sure to bring a bottle. See if you want to buy more. If not, then That's fine. I got a bottle of mine wine I could sell somewhere else.
What's our new supplier's name?
How will we know to meet you again?
Well, I'll be here. My ship, the Rosary. My name's Brud. Good to meet you. He like kind of holds his hands out again to shake. Now,
Cook still has to like put down that barrel, so he just shakes it with the other hand.
and he says, "Do you want to hand shipping this stuff to your bar, or?"
Yeah, probably wouldn't hurt.
Have you got the
Alright.
card? Can I?
Yeah,
Can
of
I
course,
just
of
do it?
I'll get the cart off the ship. And it's like, you can see it's like a hand cart, basically a wheelbarrow. But like you can fit, maybe like 4 or 5 barrels in at a time. So it takes you maybe 2 or 3 trips.
Oh, damn.
And you're in.
Makuda's going to go and
right
ask someone else for a cart, so he could do it in one trip, or like find a wagon that he can just pull himself.
Yeah, I mean, there's not that many wagons in Ashar just because, like it's sort of lots of small streets and not that far to
Stuff moving
travel.
stuff off dock though. Maybe.
What you need are some
definitely.
slaves.
Yeah, there's definitely like hand carts for days.
Okay.
But yeah, like your inn is actually very, very close to the docks. Your
okay.
inn's right on the north side, so it's probably only like a 5-10 minute walk.
Oh,
It's not like you got to traipse through the whole city. Like your inn is basically on the main street, like the high street, in the very north of the city, and the docks are at the end of the high street in the north of the city. So it's literally like you like walk out of your front door and look to the right, and you see the docks like just down the road.
Location, location, location.
Yeah, it's a good spot.
what's he called? Brun or something?
Brud.
Brud. That was it. Okay.
Like Brad with a U.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, because the hand carts are probably made for people much shorter than Makud, he's going to load it up and then put it over his shoulder, and then he's going to carry something else or 2 more dwarven kegs under his arms. But
Cool.
before that, he's going to like take the luminous orange thing and just like really delicately in massive hands like pass it to Brayton. And then he's going to like load himself up, so it definitely only takes him 2 trips.
Yeah, Bryn, it's slightly warm to the touch.
All right.
But yeah, you guys can easily unload. I'm assuming you pay him.
Yes, I paid him.
Sure, yeah.
I had the gold
Good.
to pay him. Everybody else can
800.
pay me
Did you
back
pay him the
later.
whole 800?
Mm-hmm.
You don't want me to?
I mean, when we get back to we can all divvy it up equally.
Sure. That makes some sense.
That sounds good. Okay. So yeah, it's fairly easy to ship everything across. And now you have stock for a wonderful, wonderful bar. Abrishmina, what are you up to?
Well, Declan is getting set up in the basement, and Bryn and Makud went off for booze shopping. I would like to get the diamond.
Okay.
So Abrishmina would like to go shopping for jewelry.
Oh no. Makud is proficient in jeweler's tools. You're going diamond shopping without him.
Well, do you want me to wait? Like, I can say that she mentioned it whenever you guys were about to go, because I had something else to do.
I don't know. Up to you. If you want to,
Yeah.
you can wait.
Yeah. Then she'll wait for Makud and Bryn to come back, and while she's doing that, she's going to use create water to kind of do like the 10 gallons of water like through like the first floor of the inn and kind of like wash away all of like the nasty.
Yeah.
And so it
definitely takes a scrubbing.
Yeah. And so she could just kind of like it like in Hell's Moving Castle, just like
Yeah,
water everywhere and or Spirited Away, where it's just like water everywhere to like, get everything loosened up so that she can get a good scrubbing going of the front area. Because it doesn't sound like we're going to be opening up the rooms to rent for travelers. It looks like it's going to be like where we live. So she's focused on the front of the house first. And that's what she'll be doing while she waits for Makud and Bren to come back.
Our rooms are too powerful for you, traveler. Yeah, and then you can once Makud is done with that, you can definitely go jewelry shopping. So the best place to do that would probably be the inner city market rather than the dark market. And there's loads of places selling like forged and worked jewelry, but not that many places selling like cut jewels. But you can make me an investigation check with advantage.
Okay. Let me see. What is Mina's investigation? Oh, bad. Okay. Can I cast guidance on myself while I'm doing this?
Of course.
Okay. It seems kind of lame, but yeah. Thank you for letting me do it. My bonuses.
You're
Good.
Makud, because you're proficient in jeweler's tools, can give you advantage.
I rolled the same thing on both die. That is a 15.
Yeah,
What
that's
are we
good enough.
Okay.
He gave me advantage because of you.
Oh no, I thought you said I could roll with advantage, but okay.
Oh, do you
Oh,
want
I meant so you could have advantage.
Oh, okay.
But you can roll as well if you wish.
If I rolled with advantage, I got a natural 20, but if you gave it to me, then you can take a 15.
Okay, Makud, you find a diamond on there.
He just pulls one out of the ground.
It's like, oh, you need a diamond? Sure thing.
Well, I got one of those. He just
You
pulls
just
it off.
gotta sing to them.
He just has it in his horn.
Yeah. No, Makud, that diamonds were used, a lot to sort of spice up your performance and that sort of thing, and you know where they got them. It was this little kind of back alley shop that is essentially a jeweler, but the jewelry they make isn't great, and they don't do a roaring trade, so they're sort of willing to sell anything, including their raw materials. And so there's this tiny, tiny shop that Makud, you probably can't actually fit in very well. And it's like really dark and cool inside. And just sitting behind the counter is this kind of spindly old man. And he's got these giant glasses on, sort of gazing at this little like pearl that he's got between, or like in these sort of tweezer things. And he looks up at you, sort of blinking as you walk in. Oh, hello? And he's sort of like squinting through the glasses and sort of forgetting that he's wearing them and having a hard time focusing on you.
Good morning.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Abarashmina. I am looking to purchase some jewels, please.
Mm-hmm. What kind of jewels?
Diamonds.
Diamonds. Okay. What size?
A fine quality. I'm about the size of, and she gestures to whatever $300 or 300 gold worth of diamonds look like in Ashar.
Okay, so that's probably like sort of a large diamond.
Yeah, does it specify what the clarity needs to be in these kinds of things?
Yeah, I mean that's sort of rolled into the price, I think.
Okay.
Like obviously a clear diamond is going to be worth more than a LSK. So yeah, it's sort of like fairly large, quite clear diamond. And he says, "Yeah, we got those." Kind of pulls out this little tray. It's about the size of a wormwood dice tray, actually. Place it on the counter, and you can see there's like 20 to 30 diamonds in there that have all sort of like all kind of broken up, a lot of them, and like shaved and not properly cut. And he says, "Yeah, just see which ones you fancy in there." He's like constantly doing that thing where he's like licking his teeth.
Who is like finally like gets himself through the doorway or something, and he's like, "Hello, tiny stone chop."
Man's giant bug eyes in the glasses just go super wide.
He might even be wearing some of this guy's trade still because he has,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, definitely.
the headdress thing.
Hello. Can I?
He
Help
is
you?
with me.
Oh, right. And he sort of like sinks into his chair slightly.
And Abarashmina is picking over like the tray of things, like looking for stones that might be suitable.
Make me then a jewelry check.
I'll be like, what do you think of this one, Makud? Every like holding them up for him.
Yeah. Okay, Makud, you can roll.
So I'm proficient in the tool. That gives me 3, and then would you say this is like a wisdom because it's like natural world knowledge rather than learned knowledge, or like it's a perception-y thing, maybe?
Yeah. Okay. Say. Yeah, it's a perception-y thing. I'll be generous.
I mean, it's only a +4 rather like.
Well, mine is a +8, but
I know because
Good
I'm
roll.
not rolling perception. I'm rolling the tool check.
oh yeah,
thing.
yeah.
I just like I think of it more that like the Mantos have an affinity for these kind of stones and stuff in their culture.
Yeah.
Rather than it being a book learned intelligence thing.
Abrashmina lays a hand on your massive shoulder, so you have guidance.
Ooh. I mean, I'm not saying you wouldn't be any better at it anyway,
No.
but
I
McCool
forgot.
just wants to be involved. That's an 18 with the guidance. I got a full 4, so
Yeah. You pick out 2 or 3. We'll say 3 that look like they could be worth pretty much 300 gold. Look about what you think Abrashmin is looking for.
like I think you see him like with unusual sort of dexterity and care, like pick up these little
Pulls out
fragments
his
that are
own
tiny.
little goggles.
He certainly like holds them up, and in his massive fists, and he's like, "I think these are what you want. You will look good with them."
Abrashmina smiles. That is not exactly what they're for, but thank you. How much would you want for these?
Let me see. So leans forward. I will say 300 each.
If I any discount for buying more than one? Your jewels will be on the jewel of the watcher.
Make me a persuasion check. Ooh, a good one.
Got a 17 on the dice with my persuasion. That is 23.
He also got a 17 on the die, but only had a +1 for ashholelessness. So he says, all right. We'll say you can have the lot for 700.
Done. That is agreeable to me.
The lot being 3.
Yes.
Just cool. Yeah. He like waits for you to hand over the money, just sitting there kind of staring at you.
Abrashmina will hand over the 700 gold. Is there any shavings or dust that you do not use that I could have?
I mean, you could have it for price.
These are not things that you can use in jewelry.
How do you know that?
Then show me, where is your diamond dust jewelry? I would like to see.
I don't have any at the moment. demand's been very high or sold out.
I am sure. That is all right. I was just hoping
Yeah.
to that you would feel goodness out of your own heart and to
Well,
provide
hey,
for the temple.
listen. How about, and he like reaches down and pulls out like a basin that's full of it.
And
That's like the size of like a plant pot, you know, like really big. And he says, "You can have all of this for like 10 gold, 5 gold."
5 gold. Done.
And it hands it to you.
Abrashmina sets it in a pouch. How much?
That'd be a fucking big pouch.
Yeah.
705 gold.
Yes. At 3 diamonds worth.
And we'll say a hogshead worth. No. Yeah. Probably a good like 5 kilos of diamond dust. Or 11.0231 pounds.
11 pounds.
0.0231.
I could resist sneezing into the diamond dust and like sending
Does
it
it-
scattering. to
Does
the
it
air.
have a lid or anything?
He shakes his head.
All right. I have an alms box. Is that big enough to carry this without spilling
big is
anything, you think?
Alms box.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably not that big.
Alms is like
yeah.
food.
You're
and stuff.
carrying that around. Fucking hell. It's like a chest
Is
that
it?
you could put like 2 heads in.
Oh, then I have it with me for this moment, but
Sure.
I just want to be able to carry it back to the tavern without any issue.
Yeah. That's
I mean,
like
isn't that
actually-
what McCood's here for? No one's going to
Yeah.
bother him carrying anything.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. You guys can get back. There seems to be sort of like the inn you've bought seems to be this bustle of each of your activities. You're sort of moving around, setting things up, you know, moving in drinks, like starting to feel like maybe this place could like become sort of a bit more homely, a bit more of a real thing.
Abrashmina is now broke.
I was going to say McCood offers to pay for some of it, but
Oh.
like I buy it.
Well, if you-
Yeah, everyone's been like, don't worry, I'll pay.
well, because
That is not what I said.
Abrashmina was buying this. She's buying it for the group, but she's wasn't going to ask. But so if
McCood was involved, and he also
Yeah.
has little concept of money, so he was going to put money down.
Well, this is a diamond for like a resurrection spell, right?
yeah, I
He
have.
also doesn't know that. He thinks
Yeah.
he has no concept of magic. He thinks you're just buying a diamond because you like
Yeah.
it, which is good enough reason for him. So
It's always just makes me think of that Critical Role episode with Grog bartering.
yeah,
So good.
I wanted to do that, but like Jade would kill me, so
Yeah.
Bryn would kill me. So
Yeah, no.
um,
You go over there, I'll handle it.
I mean, how much did you spend overall?
705.
Do you want me to do 350 of it?
That is up to you. I just wanted.
You have to pay for the booze, so you need some money to
I
pay Bryn.
already paid. I already paid. That is. I am broke, including the 200 to Bryn.
Fuck,
Oh,
I gave you guys way too
okay.
much money.
You kind of did. Like I said, like Abrashmina could have bought that in on her own the last episode
Yeah,
at the
but
full price.
I spent money on it.
yeah.
Take 350 back,
Oh well. Thank you, Makud. That is nice of you.
and I'll take out the 200 for McCood if people are going to make him pay fairly for that. So
the-
I'm down to
how much were we
850.
contributing for the diamond?
I contributed half, basically, of what she paid.
I was going to say, I mean, if you were telling us what it was for and why you were getting it, Bryn would have, chipped in as well.
Abrashmina was not going to tell you this.
No, I didn't feel she was. I felt like we were just going to come home and that would be it, which is why I paid then.
Well, if Declan is made aware, he will pay you. Otherwise, he doesn't know.
But,
Yeah. But she has, for the sake of group knowledge, she has 3 diamonds for Revivify and 11 pounds worth for restoration spells. So
Nice.
she should be good.
Cool.
Need a motherfucking cord.
When you guys return, Declan will come upstairs excitedly and say, Bryn and Makud, I have something I'd like to show you. I think you'll be very excited about this, really. Come on. You'll run downstairs.
All right.
I just want to make it clear, Jade, I have paid my 200. So if you...
All right.
Right, Declan paid you as
Nice.
well.
So has everyone paid their 200? So
Yes.
Bryn only has to go down by 200. Cool.
Nice.
Alcohol is paid for. Diamonds are paid for. I will follow Declan.
Yes.
So you get down there, and half the basement's pretty large, right, Rob?
Yeah. It's huge.
So like half the room has been set up for his laboratory, and that's what you see first. But then in the far side of the basement, he's gotten whatever he can get together in terms of like carpeting and things like that, and he's set up like a sparring area. There's not a whole lot there yet, but I thought this could be a place where those of us who appreciate the martial arts could practice. What do you think?
I think
Not
that's
much to look at.
fantastic.
It's not much to look at yet, I know, but it could be a little sanctuary, a place for us all to keep our skills sharp. Perhaps give Mina a bit of expertise in the area if she cares to.
What are you doing? As she comes in, like after putting away her purchases.
It's a sort of an exercise room. I'm hoping to install some acrobatic equipment and things like that. I had a really spectacular gymnasium set up at the old homestead back in Dithoin. I'd like to replicate that here, but ultimately it's a place for us to sharpen our skills. If you'd like training in sword play, I'd be happy to teach you, Mina. I know that Makud here owes me a duel. Bryn, I'm pretty sure, would run me through. Think I can keep out of Makud's way, though.
It's like...
Fuck up your day.
Oh God!
Wolf, you seem to have left in a small animal.
Says Makud at the thought of being beaten by
Mm.
Is it bedtime, Chopper? Give me the puppy.
Makud has no bedtime.
Makud is free. He goes to bed when he wants.
Nobody puts Makud in the corner.
Yeah. But I think that's probably a lot of things to occupy your guys' time for the 2 days.
Yeah. I figured that would be towards the end of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Setting up the lab, setting this up, and that's...
Yeah. And so on the 3rd day, you guys make your way over to the 6 Eyes again to find it a little bit more busy. And the door to the sort of meeting room, it's almost like a war room, like it's where you've met with the 6 Eyes at every turn. That's closed at the moment. When you walk in, and you see a few people about. Maya and Thal are there. Dune is not. Uwe is behind bar. Quincy's on the door.
I'll speak with Quincy.
I would, as he's going to go speak with Quincy, is Maya and Thal making "Hey, come here" faces, as though like they might have gone and procured Mina's belongings.
Yeah. So you see Maya, she doesn't make like a come over here or anything, but she like catches your eye and just gives you a small nod. Be like, when you got a moment, come over. If not, don't worry about it, sort of thing.
Yeah. She's gonna go over to speak with them while Declan goes to talk to Quincy.
And Thal's just like sitting sort of next to her on the far side, and Maya kind of turns to look up at you. Hey, how's it going?
It is all right. How does the day find you?
Well, fine. Yeah, fine. A few assholes. Nothing other than ordinary. Hey, we got all your stuff upstairs if you want it.
That is very kind of you. I appreciate the risk you took. That was no trouble.
Nah, it was easy. I'll be honest. They those god brothers don't seem to really watch their backs or their fronts.
Now, if there's ever a time that I can return the favor, let me know.
Oh, I'm sure there will be. Kind of gives you a grin. We left it in your old room.
Abarashimina will give her a nod and slip away to go get her things. Well, yeah. Or no, I'll wait until after we speak to Sharat.
So you're talking to Quincy, Declan?
Yes.
Kind of gives you a nod, arms crossed, as they seem to always be.
I've come to speak to Sherrod and the Six Eyes.
Yeah, no worries. He's inside. Just I think he's a bit tired from his meeting, so
Of course.
keep your
Promise.
voice down.
Sure.
Here, I'll. He sort of like looks across the bar and nods at someone, and he goes, "Iri will take you in."
Thanks.
And you see a half-orc woman. She's quite lithe. I'm not sure you've met her before. Maybe you have. And she kind of walks up. She's in like leather, kind of classic thief garb, covered in daggers. And she says,
as we're walking along, I'll say, have you ever had cause to use all of those daggers in a single fight? Or are they just for the intimidation factor?
That is a good question, but I would answer it with, one can never have too many knives.
Suppose that's so.
And my other answer would be absolutely yes. And she kind of like leans in as she says it and grins.
Declan leans back a little bit. He's not comfortable with that much
Yeah, she's definitely
proximity.
she's definitely got like a good half-foot height on you. Like she's real tall. And she just kind of walks up to the Six Eyes door and raps on it with one knuckle. You hear Siggy on the other side, the Callan woman, who's one of the Six Eyes. Come in. Door opens, and you see the three of them sitting. Sharat is like on a sort of comfy armchair, kind of near the back, and he's just sort of like holding his the bridge of his nose, kind of like leaning forward, glass of wine in his hand.
I hope your meeting with the council was productive.
Yes, it was. Those elves don't do anything quickly, but it was encouraging.
This is good. I hope one day to address the council myself on certain matters, but I digress. I've come before you because... Well, who's with me right now?
Everybody, I think.
Everybody? We've come before you today in an offer of cooperation. We've learned a great deal since the last time we were here about the preacher and his operation. It is our hope that we can trade assistance. We offer you this information to use in your operations how you see fit, in exchange for certain assistance.
Yes, that would be interesting to us. What kind of assistance did you have in mind?
Well, first of all, it may or may not surprise you to hear that the Mirage Inn has come under new ownership. Our ownership.
That does surprise me. I've been a little out of the loop lately. I must say, that is really quite something. And he kind of grins at that. I'm happy for you.
Thanks. It is a sign of our investment in this city. It is a message to the people of Ashar that we are here to stay and that we are a part of this community. It has become clear that my efforts to hide my identity from the preacher have been for naught. He knows we are here. He knows we seek him. He knows who we are. It is my hope that by establishing ourselves and projecting a sense of justice for these people, that we will take away one of the preacher's great weapons. The fear that the people of the city place in him, and the illusion of piety and respect that he cultivates.
Shurat's nodding.
To that effect, I would like to ask you if you could advocate for our cause with the council. A great deal could be done by someone of your standing to promote our image in the city as people of good intention and good faith. I would also like the opportunity for us to address the council if you believe it could be done.
He kind of strokes his like stubbly, less than well-kept chin. That is quite a tall order, but for the first, my advocacy of your group.
We could be a public face for the mission that you do in secret.
I quite like this idea. And I think that with the right nurturing, it could grow into rather a perfect situation. You take the admiration and we'll say the credit, which takes the heat somewhat away from us, allowing us more freedom in our operations and allowing you more full access to what you seek. Yes, I believe this is a mutually beneficial idea.
I hope, but I should be upfront with you. It is my hope as well that through our efforts, we shall show you and your people a different way as well. I know that I cannot change your mind with words, but I hope that by inclusion and cooperation, we can learn from each other too.
He gives you a polite nod and he says, well, we are open to that. I can't speak for everyone or anyone under our employ, but we won't just blindly ignore you. I can promise that.
It has come to my attention that the battle against the preacher is not a battle of blood and bone and swords. It is a battle of faith and principle. This is a man and these are a people who believe themselves servants of an ancient god. And at that, I'll pull out some of the research and notes that I've been taking around the lash, and I'll kind of lay it out for him in sort of a flowchart kind of connected pattern.
And you see Alluri, the elven woman, who's the other 6. She sort of gets up and begins like staring at the papers and like kind of rifling through them.
To find and kill the preacher is not to defeat this movement. I believe that these are people who engage in slavery and murder because they believe that slavery and murder are a form of spiritual cleansing, if my theories are correct. They worship this deity, and I'll gesture to the pendant that we have. This god that they serve is called the Lashed. His cult was last seen, or I'm not sure if it's gendered, but their cult was last seen, what was it, 600 years ago, 500 years ago?
5 to 6.
600.
And it is a dude on the...
Okay. His cult was seen in this area nearly 600 years ago. They disappeared under mysterious circumstances and now have returned. I have met now members of this religious following. and they are devout. They are unafraid of pain and death. We cannot slaughter our way to victory. Ideas must be extinguished with better ideas. And that is my mission. And to that effect, first thing we must do is show that this man and this movement are not invulnerable. We have discovered the location, or the presumed locations, of some of his top lieutenants called the Apostles. Our next mission is to find the one called the Trapper, who hides beneath this city. Any information you could provide about this area of the sewers, and I'll pull out my city map and where we believe the guy is, would be a great asset to us.
I am afraid we don't know much about that area of the city. We do a lot of work in the waterways, but so far we found that area rather impregnable. Our people have tried to get through, but we are yet to succeed.
Is there any information that those who have attempted to penetrate this part of the city might have about what defenses they encountered?
From what I can remember, there were several deliberate defenses, flooding corridors, spiked traps, that sort of thing. It seemed as though someone had designed it specifically to avoid entrance. And Oluri's like nodding, confirming that he's correct.
Mm-hmm. Well, that gives us some information. This information is the first in what I hope will be a long relationship of goodwill and cooperation between our organizations. We will, of course, return and share what we find once we've dealt with the Trapper. And I hope that you will continue to uphold your end of this bargain.
We will. And if you need resources, we would be happy to help you.
I'll kind of look back to the rest of the group, see if anybody wants to say anything.
What is the council doing about the events that happened at the Vicar?
The Vicar. Well, that was a 7-hour discussion in which very little was actually said. But the long and short of it is that Shal Ab Ajana has deemed it fit for repurpose and is beginning the process of fixing it up, apparently. So it should be returning to form within the next few months.
Yes, but there is nothing that has been learned about the individual that caused the chaos there.
Well, several on the council refuse to believe that a sandworm has been sighted, despite
The fact that it is rotting in the Vicar as we speak.
exactly. My gods. It was a long meeting. However, I believe most now are convinced, especially when we had testimony from guards and whatnot. But yes, they are undecided on what to do, and it seems it will remain that way for some time.
Is that everything? One final thing. I had hoped that you might have one or two in your merry band who might be interested in some employment.
Oh,
Of the legitimate kind. We need a barkeep and a bodyguard and a bouncer.
well, where there are none in the Six Eyes who would be much interested in that, I believe. However, we do have some external contacts who I believe would be very interested in some legitimate employment.
We would happily take a reference.
I can have them come to the Mirage.
If they could come this evening, that would be well. This evening or tomorrow morning would be well.
Excellent.
We are off to find the trapper on the morrow.
All right. I'll put out the word.
My
Absolutely.
thanks, Gerard.
You're very welcome. And Declan, I know our relationship has not been easy, but I would just like you to know that I very much appreciate you taking the first step towards a new bond between us.
Good faith and friendship.
Indeed. He holds out a hand to you to shake.
Take it.
All right. Is there anything anyone would like to do at the Six Eyes? I'm assuming Abrishmin is grabbing her shit.
Yeah.
It's all there. And it's all there, as well as like some gold symbols of the Watcher, and like a few goblets and things that very much weren't Abrishmina's, but like are sort of just relics from the temple. That they were like, I should probably want that.
How much gold?
Well, it's not gold coinage.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's like, like necklaces and gold goblets and like a gold decanter. But yeah, you reckon you could probably sell for like 50, 75?
As people are kind of leaving the council chamber, Makud is just going to go to Sharat. You know people, and we are both busy people, but I don't know if I can hunt down the preacher and be a full-time parent at the same time. And he kind of like opens the bag and the wyverns come crawling out. Do you know people who can look after wyverns when I'm not there?
That is right. Yep. And he's sort of like rubbing his temples like this day. I can definitely ask around. I know, Siggy, you are partial to horrifying and dangerous animals, and like the Callan woman is just like standing up and like peering down at them, and she's got like a really interested look on her face. And she goes, yes, very much so. Where did you get them? She's like kind of poking her fingers at them and then nibbling at her.
They were in the sandworm in the Vicar. They did have a mother until a giant animated pot ate her. There is a very strange man in the Vicar. Stranger than most.
Right. I'm sure some of that got lost in translation. Yes, we can look after them. No problem. We can sort something out. I'm sure we could.
Good. I was going to leave them maybe here for now because the Mirage is not ready for infants. And he kind of like, waggles a finger.
He hasn't put little plastic things on all the corners of the tables.
Exactly.
Sharat turns to Alluri and is like, could you maybe create a secure place for them to be for a little while, just to look after them? And she sort of nods and like turns the head up to a lab, and Siggy's just scooping the creatures into her her arms and like nuzzling them, even though they're biting her face. She doesn't seem to notice.
And he's like, I've only had them for like 2 days. Oh, now 5 days, I guess, because we had a time skip or something like that.
Yeah.
This one likes like this, and this one like, and he like points out just little things that each of them like. He's like, they have not got names yet, so don't you name them.
I won't.
Good.
Siggy says as she's like heading out, like a little bit in love with them.
This one can do this though, and like he like makes one of them do a trick. I think only
Imagine
one
that
of
trick to Makud is like he just sticks his finger in and one of them bites it and he just wiggles his finger and it doesn't let go.
yes, something perfectly like that. He is a strong one.
Look, he doesn't let go. Look.
Makud, you didn't name your children?
I mean, he only had them a couple of days, and then we glossed over 3 days. Like so.
Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego.
Yes.
Uh,
Put them in a furnace.
Anyway, unless there's anything else anyone would like to do, you return to the Mirage. It's getting to be sort of late afternoon at this point. And you sort of continue kind of tidying up, setting things up. And there's a knock at the door.
I'll get it.
And Declan, you kind of head to the door, open it, to see three fairly strange-looking individuals, all of whom seem, at first, very poor, and secondly, all completely different. The first you notice is a giant orc, full orc, not half orc. His hair is braided kind of down the center, and is like completely shaved except this one braid that runs all the way down the middle and like down to his knees, the backs of his knees. He's got this fur armor on and one of the Oasis at Night charms to keep himself cool. And there's a giant axe strapped to his back. And he's got like huge tusks that curl up almost up to his eyes. Next is an Ashari man. He's extremely skinny, looks mid-20s. And he's got like this wild curly hair that sort of like just sort of hangs around his head, completely unruly. And he's in this sort of high-collared coat that's really like filthy. And then the last one is this tiny little halfling. He's got huge ears and bright red hair. And they all sort of like grin at you. And the halfling says, "Hey, you. We're here about the job."
Yes, and who was it that sent you?
I think you know that. And he sort of points to his nose.
Right, but I would like you to say it so that I know that you know.
Sure.
There you go. Thank you. Come on inside.
All right.
I'm assuming from this voice that this is a halfling male man.
All three are actually male.
That's not going to work.
Welcome, gentlemen, to the Mirage. My name is Declan Cole. This is Brynhild, Avrashmina, Jewel of the Watcher, and Makud, also known as Amar Utu.
You do not have to include that every time you introduce me, though I do appreciate I do appreciate it.
Your
But
status is an advertisement for this business, my dear.
That is true. All right.
Makud, you recognize the orc. He is someone that has fought in the Vakar many, many times, though has never fought you. Tends to do kind of the smaller fights. You probably don't know his name, but you like nod to each other every so often as you're like walking through. And he usually wins. He's also, I forgot to mention, he's also got a dyed beard that is bright blue currently.
Would you all care to introduce yourselves?
Well, yeah, no worries. My name's Smear, says the halfling. Well, I'll let him. And the wizard kind of like, he's like got really like bad sort of submissive posture. He says, my name is Thorlox. Yep. And he's like, seems like really kind of awkward and out of place. And the orc just says, crossed arms, Shugor. I'll put those in the chat.
Well met, Smear, Dollox, and Shugor. Now, I don't want to venture to guess, but we had 2 jobs available, yet there are 3 of you here. Did any of you have an idea about which you would prefer to be doing?
Yeah, listen. Here's the thing about me. I'm real good at talking, okay? If
I
you
can see
want
that.
if you want people to come, you hire me, okay? I love live music. I can get you maybe 5-10 bands a week in here playing up, lovely singers. I wanna get people in here, get this place to be a hub of music within the city.
I want to insight check this guy.
All right.
Same cease.
Yeah.
Ooh. 25.
Okay. You know exactly the type of person this is. He is someone who loves to talk. He's someone who will more than likely never say anything's his fault. But he seems like he does genuinely love live music, but only because it brings more people who can listen to him talk.
Do I get the sense that he believes his own bullshit?
He definitely does. And he definitely sees himself as sort of like a promoter and a big shot.
Mm-hmm. Well, so then I take it you're here to invent your own job.
No, I was coming here for the bar job, but if you'd be interested in just kind of a promotional deal, that's okay too.
All right. And you, my friend, I'll look to the Ashari man.
Well, I just really need coin. And I will do, I don't mind.
What are your skills?
Well, I can do a bit of magic. I've got quite steady hands.
Do you know how to tend bar?
No.
Can you cook?
Sure, maybe.
It doesn't
No, probably not. I'm
sound
sorry.
convincing.
What were you hoping to do?
I don't know. Maybe I should just go. And he
Well-
turns away.
Not just yet. At the very least, if you're a wizard, can you prestidigitate?
Yes, I can do that.
I'll pull over just a dirty rag. Clean this.
He does, with a wave of his hand.
Well, that in and of itself is an extremely useful skill in our particular line of work. So, I would be happy to. I'll sort of look to everyone else as I'm speaking for confirmation. I think we'd be happy to take you on in a limited capacity as a sort of a handyman if you could use your magic in utilitarian ways for the upkeep of the bar.
Can you mend things?
I can.
He's got a.
Abrashina, well, no, she can't tear because she's weak as all hell. She hands a rag to Makut and says, "Will you tear this in half for me, please?" And then she hands it back to Tullux to demonstrate.
Tolox takes it, holds each half in the hand, and then with a little shimmer of light, the pieces seal back together.
Very good. And you, a blue-bearded friend, I suppose
Yes.
you're here to bounce. Not in a literal sense, but to be the bouncer.
I can also tend bar.
This is good. Well, for your individual jobs, we can offer you each a salary of 5 silver per evening that you work, plus whatever tips that you gather for yourselves. For any promotional work that you do, and I'll look to the halfling, we will offer you an additional 10% for any special events that you organize for all drink sales for that day.
10% of all drink sales, eh?
Assuming that you organize an event and it brings people in the door.
I understand that is an interesting proposition.
I'll sort of look to Brynhild to see if she has any squeamish feelings about the numbers I'm bandying about.
Perhaps 10% of drink sales during the event,
Yes.
Yeah.
not the entire day.
No, for the event itself, yes.
I think before we let any live music play here, I think we need to get a feel for the type of bands he can bring in.
I could bring in anything you want, baby.
I would refrain from calling her baby.
She has not been one for at least 2 decades.
At least.
Right. My
Because if we
apologies,
go-
ma'am. I didn't mean anything by it. I was just...
Do not let her beauty fool you. She will fill you full of holes rather quickly.
Well, and
You can see he goes slightly red, trying not to make some sex joke.
God damn it.
I understand.
because if you go bringing shit music in here, it'll kill our reputation.
Well,
And if you think you've got somebody that needs a place to play, and this is his big break, it isn't going to happen.
I don't do that.
all musical acts must be subject to Brynhild's approval going forward. Agreed?
That sounds good to me.
All right. Well, your first task, my friend, is to organize our grand opening. The bar is stocked.
Done.
The bar is stocked, and well, there probably won't be food. Probably just we'll have to find ourselves some peanuts or something. Yeah, they have peanuts in a shop.
I can get you anything. Hey, you need a chef? I'll get you a chef.
Dates,
We need
in general.
Bar food.
Bar food, yes.
Well, dates then.
Probably
we-
wouldn't.
Want to run dates from this bar? Like
No, the
No.
8 dates.
like
dried fruit.
fake, like
There's
fake.
rooms upstairs, yeah?
No, none. There will be none of that.
Oh.
None of that. Not even
I
off.
understand. Hey, I'm just trying to figure out the business. That's
I mean, if honest coin,
None of that.
Well then, in 1 week's time, we'll have our grand opening. We want to make a splash in the city.
probably should find a cook and some serving girls.
Probably.
I'll switch out. How about that? I'll bring some guys over. Let you check them out.
Very well. Here is an advance on your first day's pay. Did we get Shigor? While our friend Smear goes about and gathers interest, if you could assist us in further repairs and cleaning, Tolox, the same for you. If either of the two of you know a place where we could acquire new furniture, things like that, that would be a good place to start as well.
Or
The four of,
the furniture that we have, and she like nods to Tullix.
exactly. The four of us will be gone tomorrow, and for an indeterminate amount of time, we'll be gone for the opening, or we'll return for the opening. No small part of this job will be keeping this tavern running and in good standing in the community while we are away, and we will be away from time to time. It is important that you know that the people that you are agreeing to work for are more than just proprietors of a simple bar. We are here to be an active force in the community, visible and known, but also engaged in, well, daring acts of ne'er-do-well.
I'm
Hey,
sure this
that's pretty
comes
good. And you see Smear like scribbling something on his hand.
should come as no surprise to you since you come recommended from Sharat, yes?
Yeah, we do very highly recommend it.
I only tell you this because there will be no small amount of scrutiny drawn upon us, and perhaps danger upon this bar. So, you should not take this job unless you are willing and able to defend yourself.
You see Smear like laughing, and Sugar just shrugs like, yeah, no worries.
Can I insight check Tolox, please?
Yep.
Me too.
No, I didn't do as well this time. That is only a 15.
I rolled a 22.
Tolox is just sort of kind of surprised by the fact that he is holding money for the first time in a long time. And the sort of thoughts about danger and whatnot are sort of going over his head as he's like, he's just happy that he's finally got a job.
Any questions?
They all kind of shake their heads. Sugar just sort of like puts his battle axe down and heads over and begins like lifting up the tables and chairs, like where they're sort of piled up, and sort of arranging them so that Tolox can begin fixing them. Smear sort of has a look around the bar for a bit, and then is going to head outside unless there's anything else you want to say to him.
Mm-mm.
And so yeah, he heads out, and you see like just before the door closes, he accosts the first person he sees, and he says, "Hey, you bozo! You like daring adventures and whatnot? That's the bar for you." And he's just like going around accosting every single person he sees. Like he is just one of those people with no shame, and is just willing to like bully everyone into.
Hey, did you hear that? Ma'utu is open up.
He's going to the big leagues.
Another guy so hard the other guy screamed. You're gonna see that if you come to this bar.
Oh god! And I'm now picturing him like
He's
Polly from fucking the Rocky movies. Where
He's
you got,
from Hercules. That's
Yeah,
he's even tiny.
That's true. Yeah. But it was the accent kind of made me think of Polly because he's just be like, "Hey, you gotta come over here to Rock's bar. Come on, man."
He's actually sort of based off Chris Perkins' character, who happens to also be a secret dragon. Happens to be a secret dragon.
Dragon.
Yeah, he has like a tiny little halfling. He has like a similar voice.
I have a quick meta question.
Uh-huh.
Not really meta question, but like a story question. So in Declan's head, what he's thinking is that he wants to basically trap the trapper, and sort of make a public example of the guy. Is there a legal channel that we could exploit? Undoubtedly, even if slavery is not expressly forbidden, like his organization has, broken the law for sure.
Oh, 100%. Like, if you could get him before a tribunal, he would be put away legitimately.
Right. Okay.
There are human-run courts.
Right.
In a Shah.
So Declan will sort of turn to the group and say, "Hear me out. My hope is that we can break the hold of fear that the preacher and his people have over the Ishari. If we can bring the trapper back here alive, one of the 4 apostles, and turn him over to the authorities here in this bar on the night of our opening, it would send a powerful message to the people of the city."
Does he have a family?
Does the trapper have a family?
Good nods.
Everyone does. Even those with families must face justice.
Exactly how do you plan to capture him? Or bring him back here?
I'm assuming he is a mortal man. We will defeat him in combat, drug him, gag him, bind him, and bring him.
You wish to make a spectacle of this, turning him in. You don't just want to turn him in.
That's the idea.
The best way to win hearts and minds is to put on a show.
Look, you are always very good at that.
He kind of like looks at you and like there's a little bit of a smile, soft eyes.
I watched sometimes.
He kind of stands a little straighter.
If the people want a show, then we shall give them a show.
All right. I'm abuzz with excitement.
Very well. So, what is the plan?
Sorry, can Makud just ask? He's gonna like lean over to Tolux as he's like mid repairing some furniture and stuff. Just goes, "What do you know about wyverns?"
And Torx just jumps. And he says, oh, well, you know, they're really cousins of the dragon species, but they mainly can be found on the east coast of Atresh and some of the southern coasts of Ashar, and they're carnivorous, and they're like different varying diets and tend to be more scavengers than hunters, though they have been known to hunt sometimes. Why?
I have some, not on me, but
Have some.
I need someone who knows about wyverns. We need to be prepared to look after them here.
Here, right? I could read up on them a bit, I suppose.
The squiggles are in the library.
Mm-hmm. You know,
Good. They will be back here sometime.
Okay.
Good. And he like claps the guy in the shoulder.
he just crashes into the table he was fixing.
Probably does. And then like over the prone form of him, he looks to the orc, and they both just do their nod, and then he turns and walks off. Like he implicitly, that's where the relationship is at.
You see Sugar just like bends down and picks Tolux up by like the back of his shirt, like a cat almost, and just drops him and kind of stands it back up and like sort of chuckling softly.
Abrashmina will go up to Tolix afterwards. Where did you learn? Did you learn at the Lotus or the Baracrus?
The Lotus.
Why are you not there now?
I was expelled.
What was that?
Expelled.
Why?
I accidentally did a ritual wrong and filled the building with plants, and it caused a lot of damage, and they expelled me.
Insight check.
Yeah.
22.
You think it's maybe like the most unlucky man on the planet? Like, it does just genuinely seem that at least he believes that like he just made a stupid mistake and was immediately expelled, and has just been down on his luck ever since.
Well, hopefully you will have an easier time of it here. Yes.
I would like that.
Keep the magic to cantrips as much as you can.
Yes, sir. I will.
Good man.
Nuts. So you guys planning on? It's sort of getting late now, or later.
The plan was to head out this evening, I think.
Yeah. So, are there any more preparations you all would like to make?
Just to set the three of them up with beds and a key.
Yeah, sure. That's no problem at all.
I am picking some spells. All right. I'm good, I think.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, we good to head out?
Yeah.
All
Can we
right.
take a quick break?
Yeah, I was just gonna say before the break, as you're sort of heading out, you see Smear is standing on a crate, like beside a sort of marketplace that's kind of beginning to pack up, and he's just like calling out to everyone. He's like, "Do you find your local inn does not do a good enough job at making a positive impact in the community? I've got an inn for you." He's like going super hard on the salesmanship, and to your surprise, he is turning a couple of heads.
He should be selling the point that we have mine wine.
We didn't tell him that we have mine wine.
We should tell him that we have mine wine.
Real quick,
you could go tell him.
we'll give him the bar list. I actually have it all catalogued in my journal here. Just slip it in his pocket.
I do want to say that before we head out, Abrashmina would like to do an Gori. It's more not really trying to discern anything, but just her like taking a moment to center herself
Okay.
and just kind of like doing a reading because she knows that there is going to be woe where we go.
Yeah. So what is it specifically you're auguring? Is it like what you're planning on doing, the states of the inn?
What we are planning on doing, like she already knows that it's probably going to be bad news, but she's just she's doing it as kind of like instead of sitting and praying, she is doing her cards.
So you receive wheel and woe.
Gotta love the gods for their specificity.
Even if they do not bring me news that we can always act upon, they help keep me calm.
Your calmness is a great asset to us.
All right, 5-minute break.
Yeah.
How much longer you got, Dylan? I know you're
45 minutes.
Oh, sweet.
Sweet. Boop, 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 boop.
Oh.
You okay though?
Yeah, smear may have slightly killed my throat.
So, tell me, Smear, about your life history and that sort of thing.
I was born in a bottle of ale.
Uh, there has been much of the typing.
Yes. I was hoping that we would finally get to the dungeon that I've had prepared for like 2 months, because otherwise my overlay does not make sense.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
Actually, wait. Those may be like barrels or Coke cans or something in the corner of mine, next to the weird shadow creatures.
Drink Coke. Shadow creature approved. I mean, we might get to the the start of the dungeon, and then it would be.
It's going to be a
appropriate.
long way.
I think you've done a good job so far. Lots of interesting NPCs.
Thank you, man. That is high praise. I've enjoyed it. I'm finding my groove a little bit more with Ashar, sort of figuring out. Yeah, I love a fun NPC. Like,
We've got a booze seller. Well,
yeah.
we've got the pirate, the liquor runner,
Right.
and
Yeah.
beginning of our.
By the
crew.
way, it's totes canon that Smear is called Smear because he was a little shit stain when he was younger,
Okay.
and so they were like, the nickname just sort of came and then became his real name.
It's stuck.
Yeah.
All right. So the Mirage is going to become home of the Mine Wine Challenge.
Yes. It's like, I think McCood would have put it. There is, of all the shelves, I think that are still functional. There's like one right behind the bar, and it's just like sat there or something, glowing in the dark. Yeah, we had to get something. I felt to sell the place.
Love it.
Like our local BrewDog has. They did like a limited, super powerful, super strong beer that was like in a stuffed rabbit that BrewDog have, so that they have that above the bar. So we had to have something similar.
Of course.
Awesome McCoo totally wants some. And we totally need to. If we're giving the drinks list to the guy, I'm gonna like poke to the list and go, we need to come follow.
Yeah, totes.
I'm just going back, correcting things, and adding in the bits that I remembered but hadn't written in.
Loving it, man. I've been looking forward to this dungeon for a long time, and but I've been like enjoying the fact that things are sort of drawing out a bit, and you know, it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Is there any way that we can acquire like potions of water breathing, things like that, before we get down there? Because one of the things that we were going to face was flooded chambers.
You want potions of water breathing, huh?
But yes, we do.
Yeah, Smear's not gonna be able to help you with that. But yeah, like you could definitely probably go to the market and try.
Yeah, I mean, if we're kind of walking to the market anyway, then we'll see if we can find a potion dealer.
Sellers are kind of closing up, but you could probably definitely catch them.
Well, Bryn, this is your forte.
I'm not sure everyone is back yet.
Oh.
Yeah, I think.
Also, I think Mina's flickering it out of existence.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with C's screen.
She's leveling up. Boop, boop, doo, 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 doo. Considering we haven't been playing for that long, I've racked up a lot of pages. I think there's like a solid half a page of just Declan doing that speech.
He's a talker more than Remy was.
Just a little.
Less concise.
Yeah. Got 7 pages of basically dialogue at this point.
For today?
Just from today.
Oh, wow.
From like 11, I think, ish was when we started playing.
Yes.
So like 2 hours ish, and we got 7 pages, which is pretty good going.
Are you back, Corinne?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh my god.
It's a tall order you've set us to go capture our first true mini boss, perhaps. At large.
I know, right?
I'm back.
Yay.
Yay.
Sorry.
We're trying to find potions of water breathing.
Trying to find potions of water breathing.
For going into the waterways.
I could pack water walking.
Sure. The thing we were told we would probably face is flooded chambers.
Flooded chambers. Do I have water breathing at 3rd level?
We have water breathing at 3rd levels.
I do not have water breathing. I only have water walk.
Oh no.
Potions, then.
Yes.
Patience.
Patience.
Oh no.
Oh no.
I've just come up with the next NPC.
So original of you, Rob.
Bryn, I think we've come to trust your expertise in the area of negotiations. Do you think you could acquire us 4 potions of water breathing?
I mean, I can certainly try.
Please do.
Do I see a potion?
Everyone's kind of packing up, and you see a potion seller sitting, not yet ready to pack up. It seems, maybe hoping for that last sale of the day. He's kind of gaunt, hunched over. His eyes are fairly far apart in his face. And he's got quite a large nose.
I'll kind of run up to him and put on a show like out of breath, like, oh, thank God, I found someone.
He doesn't say anything. He just kind of raises one eyebrow.
Seriously, you're not even gonna work with me on this one? Fine. All right. 4 potions of water breathing. What do you got?
175 gold each.
No.
Then good day.
Bye. Is he the only potion seller?
Everyone else is packing up. Yeah, it looks like he's pretty much. He's the like you might be able to talk to some of the others, but he's the only one actively selling at the moment. You can make me an investigation check if you want to see if there's others around.
No, let's see. Shit. That's gonna be a 7.
Yeah, you don't see anyone else who's got any potions on them. He kind of grins toothily.
Kind of look and see if the rest of the group is like watching, how closely they're watching me.
I'm watching.
Makood's around if you want him or not. He probably isn't paying any attention unless you shout. So.
If you're gonna do something unscrupulous, yes, Declan is watching you.
Oh, look at this, Declan. There is something down this street.
You hear Smear's voice carrying from like 2 streets away.
Remember, Bryn, we're trying to raise our profile, not lower.
Turn back, give him a nice toothy grin. I got this. And I'll kind of lean really, really close to the guy.
His breath smells like cauliflower.
Try not to grimace. Then I will use my Kalistar ability to my little psychic ability, and I'm gonna kind of try to plant the thought in his brain that he, we're last sale of the day, kind of thing like that.
Okay. How does that ability work exactly?
So it's like it's basically like the message spell.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'm gonna kind of try to make it sound like it's more like a, hey, maybe I can, lower the price just a little bit. These aren't exactly moving off the shelf.
Yeah. What kind of check do you think then?
Persuasion?
I mean, persuasion, yeah.
Yeah. How are we
That 23.
Oh, yeah. You beat him quite nicely. And he says, well, if you're buying 4 potions,
Exactly.
then I suppose 120.
Also buying 4 potions of water breathing in a desert, it can't exactly be something that is in high demand.
Lady's
Yeah.
got a point.
They're sand breathing as well.
Yeah, they're not sand breathing potions. 100 each.
People like to go snorkeling in the
Snort.
oasis.
Because they're uncommon, right?
Yeah. Which means 101 to 500 gold. So he was still on the lower end of that.
I'm hitting the 100. The lady has a point. 100 each.
Deal.
All right.
He like puts down looks like a 4-pack of wine coolers, but it's water breathing potions. Just looks like water in a jar.
I mean, I've got my potion. How's everybody else looking?
Oh,
In
you
terms
mean
of money?
for cash? What do you mean?
Yeah.
Well, I'll pay you 100 gold. Well done, Bryn. Thank you.
Yeah, Abrashmina opens up her pouch that is looking a lot lighter these days.
Yeah.
Moth
Uh,
flies out.
Yeah.
Like,
Uh,
how bad are you?
like Abarashmina holds up gold goblets and gold sensor things from the that's
Temple of the Watcher.
yeah, from the Temple of the Watcher that uh Maya got. He's like, could I trade for these?
I mean, he's kind of a big deal
He
around
takes
here.
them and, like, appraises them.
Makud just puts down another 100 gold. Keep the trinkets of your god.
Well, all right then. And he like scoops up the coins, and hands you your potions and begins packing up.
Makud, you did not need to do that, but thank you.
Well, I think we're about as prepared as we can be.
All right. So,
Famous last words.
unless there's anything else you guys would like to do, you travel to the sewer grate at the north of the Vicar, or the south of the Vicar. Sorry.
I'd like to be keeping my eyes out for anyone who's tailing us, watching us, etc., etc.
I would like you to make a perception check.
I will make it with gusto. Ooh, natural 20. Plus 11 is a 31.
Oh, sorry. You do not see anyone tailing you, though you see a couple of six eyes are sort of like hanging around the roads, and just kind of give you like a very subtle like nod or a blink. They're not following you or anything, but they're just kind of there. Not actually near the entrance, but they're just sort of like, you know, maybe collecting intel or maybe like, you know, making sure that you guys, you know, don't need backup or whatever. Like they're just sort of making their presence known.
Reassuring in an eerie way.
And yeah, you get to the grate. It's kind of large, but it looks like it's opened fairly regularly. Like even though it kind of looks rusty, you can see the actual mechanisms and the hinges are quite clean.
I would like to check for traps.
You may.
Can I have some guidance?
Of course. Abrashmina lays a hand on Declan's shoulder.
Always nice to know the watcher is watching. That's going to be a 24 plus a d4, right?
Yes.
27.
This entrance is not trapped.
All right.
It is, however, locked.
I would like to unlock it.
You may attempt.
No greats can stand before the mighty Declan.
That's right.
No, that is just to say.
Tremble at my mighty dexterity. That's going to be 20. Sorry. 4, 5, 6, 7. 27 again.
Okay.
Assuming I'm still being guided, I guess.
Sure.
So,
Lock opens, and you can open the grate.
I will put on my mask and say, "Into the heart of darkness we go."
And that you do.
Everybody rolls their eyes collectively.
Yes.
No.
You cannot tell from Abrashmina.
This
She
dungeon.
has to like raise her eyebrows really dramatically. Think of it.
unless you actually put the googly eyes on there that roll around.
No. The googly eyes were only when she was an awkward teenager that wasn't quite used to thaumaturgy yet. She's got it down now.
Oh, okay.
This dungeon is going to require a lot of rolling from you guys, just FYI. So we're going to do that fairly sequentially. Just
Oh, fuck me.
Well, don't worry. I've spent like half of my gold, so there's, you know, much less of it to lose in this sewer.
So,
The only reason I have money is because of Makut right now, so that's okay.
so it begins as a set of steps leading down, and you this time hear the trickle of water. When you come out into the sort of wide corridor, it's these big sort of vaulted, rounded ceilings that are made of what appears to be sandstone, but has been rubbed so smooth that it is like much darker and looks like completely different to how it would look above ground. To start with, there's not very far to go, not many directions to go. It only heads off one way. And then slowly, as you kind of follow this corridor around, you come into a fairly large room, kind of at the top, looking down at it from what appears to be a kind of viewing balcony. And below it looks to be like this was some kind of cistern where like water was collected and then dispersed to several other areas. And you can't see anyone down there for now. However, the corridor you're in, the sort of balcony area, doesn't head down there. It actually like sort of comes out, goes along, and then comes back in. And so you follow that corridor along. Could I have a D6 from Corinne, please?
From me.
Indeed.
All right. Dos. 2.
Very well. So you come to appears to be a fairly smaller lock, basically a room that would allow one to change water levels, as using the mechanics of the room. It's got this big, these kind of 2 big gates, and so you can lower one and let water flow in, or you could, when there was more water in here, lower one, let the water flow in, and then lift it up again to raise the level, and then let it continue on. And so it's moving things through the waterways, going up and down the different floors and levels of this expansive and crazy underground place. The lock is probably about 30 feet by 30 feet. It's fairly tight, square room. I'd like everyone to just make me a quick perception check, please.
You said the lock is 30 feet by 30 feet?
Yeah, the
He
room.
means like lock, as in
Yeah.
like.
Canal
Like the
boat.
room is a lock, which is
Oh,
used
okay.
for
You said perception check. Yes.
yes, perception, please.
Natural
Okay,
20 again.
22.
22.
24.
31.
Okay, those of you who rolled above a 16, notice that in one side of the so the lock is basically it's these 2 ground level platforms, and then these 2 gates either side, and like a big sort of basically looks like kind of like a pool, almost like a big sheer kind of flat square rectangle, well, not square rectangle, built into the floor that's about 10 feet deep. This square pit, and you see that in the wall of this square pit is like a weird sort of hole. It doesn't look man-made. It looks natural because it's a very odd shape, and it looks as though like something is maybe gently moving in there, but you can't quite make out what it is.
I do have dark vision.
Yeah, with your dark vision, it looks kind of just like the shadow is sort of moving back and forth. It's really hard to distinguish.
Is there some magic at play?
How far away is it from? You said the room is about 30 feet.
Yeah. So
Uh, There's like a flash in Abrashmina's eyes as the kind of like fade from like the bright white to a kind of grayish night sky. She's using Path to the Grave to see if she can sense undead.
Okay. This is not, and there is no undead.
All right. Not Path to the Grave, Eyes of the Grave. Anyways. Is there a small pebble or anything like that around?
Handy ball bearing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, or a ball bearing. That works good. Abrashmina casts light on it so that it glows brightly. Like I can toss it in there, see what that is.
Make me some kind of dexterity based check.
If everyone thinks that's a good idea,
What are you doing?
throwing. You gave her ball bearing. She cast light on it. She's going to throw it in the dark shadow, the hole where the dark shadow is.
Can I
How
just
small
ask,
is- Go ahead.
sorry. There is a lock, and you said there's a 10 by 10 pit. Did you say there was actually, like, it was a pool, that there was any water in there?
There's
Or
no
there-
water in it at the moment.
There's no water. There's just a pit with a tunnel,
Yeah.
a non-man-made tunnel, and some sort of thing shifting in there.
Yeah. The tunnel is only maybe like 4 or 5 feet tall.
Okay.
And it's like a weird sort of circle. Like it doesn't look like it's, doesn't look like it was built.
Yeah.
So is Abrashmina going to throw the pebble or the ball bearing?
She is asking for people's opinions. She is
Do you
saying that
you
that's
want-
what she is going to do.
do you want to see what is down there, or do you want it to see or know that something is here?
Our presence will not be hidden here for long if we continue on. I was wanting to see what it was. But if you all think that we should be more cautious and try to sneak away from it, but there is something definitely moving in there.
So there's a path out of this room other than the tunnel?
There
That's
is
what I
not
thought.
currently.
There isn't.
Okay.
But if you lowered one of the gates, then there would be.
And is there a clear control over those gates?
Yeah, there is. Basically, it's all manual. Essentially, they're on a pulley system with chain. So all you do is you just the chain's on a hook, and so you just like unhook it, lower it to the level you want, and then hook it like lower on the chain.
Well, lowering that is going to make a fair amount of noise. So better we sort out what's in the hole before we attract more attention. Throw the ball bearing.
I am going to make a dex 17 plus
Okay.
dirty 20 with no proficiency, I'm assuming.
You nail it. You see the ball bearing, it bounces once and then heads straight in there. And you see for a second it illuminates this weird kind of black liquid, and then you just hear it tss, and the light goes out.
Something just extinguished the magic of your light.
Some sort of liquid. You saw it, yes?
I did.
Can I make some kind of check to figure out what that was?
Yeah, I'll take Arcana.
Arcana, you say? 13.
You aren't sure.
Did it show anything before it was extinguished, or did it just go into the pit and
Yeah, you saw that it was a weird black liquid.
it's just sitting in the bottom of the pit?
Yeah, kind of bubbling and moving.
That extinguished.
In the tunnel, not in the bottom of the pit. The
Yeah,
tunnel's at the bottom of the pit, but it's like up in the tunnel.
Yeah, and it extinguished the light when the ball bearing touched it. Well, a liquid is not going to move, but if we adjust the levels in there, will we not bring this liquid in here? Maybe? Is that... Do I think that might happen? If we adjust the water levels, is that liquid going to move as well, or is it going to stay where
Well,
it's at?
You won't be able to adjust the water, so there's no water on this level anymore. So, like, moving the lock gates up and down,
Will just allow us an exit.
yeah.
Okay, that's good. So let's try to do that. A liquid is not going to come for us.
I think I know what it is. Makud does not know what it is. So, how you said it was 30 by 30? Is that across, or is it also 30 down?
It is 30 by 30, like 30 long, 30 wide, 10 feet down.
It's 10 feet down. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the pit is a further
Like
10 feet below that.
ceiling. Yeah, so it's like 10. If you're standing in the pit, your feet are 20 feet below the ceiling. If you're standing on the ground where you're all standing, your feet are 10 feet below the ceiling.
Okay, cool. You want me to open the gate?
I'll watch your back.
He gives you a nod, and I'll move and unhook the mechanism or whatever it is and twist the wheels and whatever necessary.
Yeah, so it's literally it's super basic. It's like there's a hook and you just unhook the chain and then like slowly let it go down and then rehook it when it's low enough. As you're doing this though, all of you hear and see the black liquid begin to bubble more and move. It seems somehow sentient and
Sacred flame.
Very well. Do it.
Wait, hold on. I don't have sacred flame. I lie.
Good. So, you
Can
see,
I toll the dead?
you can toll the dead. As you're tolling the dead and rolling whatever needs to be rolled, unless it's
You
me.
need to roll a thing.
Okay. What is it?
Wisdom 16.
Yeah, it fails. 12.
Hold on. It is going to take 6 necrotic damage.
6. Interesting. Okay. And it doesn't seem to be that bothered by this as it slowly begins pulling itself out with these sort of weird, like, tendril-like appendages as this amorphous blob of black ichor begins crawling its way out of the tunnel. And you begin to see the sheer extent in the size of this creature. It is like almost taking up a large proportion of the pool.
It's just ooze, basically?
It is a black ooze that is just sort of swirling and moving in your direction.
Mm-hmm.
Let's roll initiative.
Deeply disconcerting. Oh, I rolled a natural 1.
Oh no. That is a 13 for Abrashmina.
I got 17.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take 15 for.
Declan doesn't fight a lot of monsters. This is very new to him. He's startled.
Makud fights whatever's put in front of him, so.
Dubis up first.
Makud is up first.
Yeah.
So it's filling like the 10-foot pit thing?
Almost, yeah, completely.
Me moving the gate thing, what has that done to the situation? Are we opening a way to a new room kind of thing? Or
yeah, there's just a straight corridor beyond.
At our level, or we have to like go down and move through?
You'd have to be in the pit to go through, yeah.
Sure.
I mean, you know.
He's never come up against anything that is remotely like this, right? They haven't.
No, every monster you've ever fought has had lots of teeth and claws.
Sure. It's much better for the
ones to watch.
Yes, things that look good.
Arena. Yeah. I really want to make like a diving attack, and I know it's the most terrible thing to do, but I totally want to do it.
It's the most powerful move in Dark Souls. What are you talking about, man?
The thing, me talking about having spent half my gold was meant to be like a Dark Souls reference to having spent your souls before going into a dungeon. So this seems only appropriate. He is going to, like, sling his hammer above his head. He is going to, like bellow with rage, and then I'm going to dive.
Mhm.
I'm make a diving attack on this thing.
Oh no.
He's going to aim to try and like get to like the side of the pit and smash it rather than dive right into it, maybe, but we'll see about his trajectory, possibly. What would you like me to do for making a diving attack?
I'll
on
say
said
just make an
ooze?
attack roll.
Okay.
The diving can be flavor.
Flavor.
'Cause you're picking up
17.
threat. 17 very much hits.
Excellent. Great mole.
Great move.
That's 8 on the dice, plus 2 for the rage, plus 5 for the strength, for 15 damage from the first attack. With a
15
bludgeoning,
15 damage from the first.
specifically bludgeoning.
I am worried that you are being specific.
I know
Hey,
how it
Dad.
would work. Yes. I have a second
Would
attack.
you describe Makood's Maul as magical?
No, because it was given to him in the. It was what he used from the Vicar, and he's not used anything since.
Excellent.
Yeah.
-1 permanent penalty to all its rolls as
Great.
the hammer just squelches in this thing, and you just see this black ichor just and begin burning into it, weakening it.
Okay. I don't think you've given us any magical items.
Not yet.
Weapons, anyway, but he will take a second swing undeterred, as I imagine the ooze is like sloughing off or whatever, and it's just all over as he's smashing into this thing. That would be 19, but it's 18 because of the C minus.
Yes.
That is 6, 8, 13 damage
13.
from the second hit.
Nice.
And
I
whatever kind of like liquid or flecks of ooze or the dirt in between the stones is starting to dance a little bit around Makood as he.
So I am changing
Almost
this. You will only get penalties once a round.
Okay.
FYI. Because you should be a -2 now, but we're not doing that. -1 still. Then it is this thing's go. It sees the gigantic feast before it, delighting in the potential growth it can gain from swallowing such a creature, and will make an attack at Makood for a fucking natural 20.
Oh no.
Genuinely. Okay, this is gonna suck. So you take 7 bludgeoning damage, and then you take. Oh, really? Okay. Oh my god. Oh my god. How much health does Makood have?
4, which is a lot for this level.
Yeah. He takes 52
Oh my god.
What?
In total?
in total.
Or I need to. So bludgeoning gets halved, but acid doesn't.
Okay, yeah. Bludgeoning was 7. Acid was
Yeah,
50.
down to 3.
Jesus.
What? So acid was 49 then to make it
No.
52.
Acid was 52.
Oh, acid was 52.
Acid was 52. Bludgeoning was 7.
And so are you down?
3. No, because that's 55 damage. He has 9 health left.
Okay.
55.
Way to start the dungeon. Great.
That is a crit, and it's 4d8 on the acid damage, and I rolled 2 8s, 2 7s, 2 more 8s, and 2 4s altogether.
Jesus.
That is
I hope you don't mind delaying the opening party by a day as we go back and long rest.
That's why I gave us a week.
that is the most insane fucking damage I've ever seen on.
That was pretty good.
Crit like that. But that's his turn.
It doesn't engulf me or anything.
No,
Okay.
there is actually no engulf for this creature. It has something way worse. But in the meantime,
So you see the most horrifying thing that would have totally digested a man, and he's probably partially digested as this huge creature. Like,
yeah, I imagine it's
half
like your fur is sort of
melted.
burning off. There's the smell of like
Mhm.
burning hair everywhere. You can see like pink flesh creeping through as the black stuff is coming off. And Maku's like panicking and sort of like
Smells like a tannery in here.
Bryn.
I'm gonna attack it.
Very well.
How?
Yeah, that is a good question.
How what?
You just saw it eat Makood's weapon. How are you attacking it?
Stabbing it? Are you shooting it? Are you
Oh
spelling
wait, it ate his weapon.
It ate his weapon.
it
Oh,
ate
yeah.
his
Okay,
weapon.
so let's go with some dissonant whispers then.
Yeah, that's why I was all like, how?
Very well. Is Dissonant Whispers a save?
Yes, wisdom. How wise can this blob be?
Maybe-
You also saw it mostly eat him.
Yeah. 9. Like, I imagine it's sort of like Maku, like one half of his body is like entire black goo at this point. That's a 9.
That's a fail.
Very well.
Come on.
It whispers a charisma save?
No, it's a
My bad.
Yeah. It was Elishon's
14 points of damage.
14 points of damage.
and it has to use its reaction to immediately run away from Bryn's
Go
and make an
away.
attack of opportunity. Piss off, Ooze!
Shade's like, let me do it.
Sorry. Okay, I'll stop.
It has to use its what?
Its reaction to
Okay, so it begins funneling itself back into the hole, but it actually can't move fast enough to entirely funnel in. But it
So when
starts
its
yeah,
turn,
three-
though, it starts funneling. Does it start running now?
No,
no,
it starts
and
running.
immediately use its reaction, if available, to move as far as its speed will allow away from me.
Has it left my range and I could make an opportunity?
Yeah, you
attack?
can make
Yeah,
it-
yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. It's like the best bard spell ever.
I just thought it's so big and so slow, it might take a while, because don't oozes move at fucking nothing.
They move faster than I thought they did.
Okay. 16?
It's just
Cool.
an FYI, the AC is 7, so
Okay. 6, 8, 14 damage.
14 damage. Very nice. Okay. In that case, it is now Abrashmina's turn.
Abrashmina is going to see Makud get horribly, horribly burned. And she's going to jump down into the pit after him and lay her hands on, like, the back on his back and cast Cure Wounds, 2nd level.
Imagine, like, as you are like leaping down, you see the thing like pull off like half of it, like half of him, like as like the tendrils like pull away from him, and there's just like no hair or something.
Can I cast Cure Wounds at a 2nd level from the staff?
You can.
Yeah, that's the thing. Okay, I'm going to use the staff for that. And he's going to heal. 11 plus 5, 16 points of healing.
Nice.
As Abrashmina lays hands and cures your wounds. And yeah, that's her action.
Nice. Anything else?
Does she have space to get further away from the ooze, or did she
Yeah,
use all of her movement to get down?
You definitely like the pit is 30 feet, and it is like towards one end of the pit, so you can definitely move back.
All right, I am moving back.
Very well. Declan.
So is there any place that he could get behind some cover?
So not particularly. The only place would really be like up on the side of the wall that it's buried in.
Hmm.
So it's buried in the walls of the pit, and so you could be on the walkway, basically straight above it, where it would be able to see you.
Can I get up there without having to make checks, or it's like an athletics check?
Yeah. There's definitely a way across. Like,
Okay. Basically, what I want to try to do is get to a position where I can hide with my bonus action,
okay,
and then hopefully it won't see me, and I can take a shot with advantage at it.
sure. I imagine it's sort of you're peering over the side, like above it.
Mm-hmm. Stealth is going to be 22.
So yeah, you can hide from it.
Okay.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. And then I will roll and attack it.
What are you using to attack?
Kunai, the throwing knife. That'll be a 23.
23 hits.
It'll do sneak attack damage.
8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14. 17 points of damage.
17 points.
And I assume I am out of what I think is its melee range, right?
You can think that if you'd like. Yeah, you are.
Okay.
Its range is only about 5 feet, and it's
Okay.
probably about 5 feet below you, but you're sort of up and behind it, so
Right.
it doesn't make sense for it to attack you. Makuda, it is your turn again.
Oh, great. So how far away from it? From me, is it exactly how far into this hole is it?
It's about halfway in the hole, so I imagine probably like actually 5 feet with like from you.
Okay.
But
So like I can still swing from the edge of the pool, like the pit thing, and hit it.
Yeah.
If it's not got away yet.
Yeah.
Okay. So Maku's world is pain, like an unimaginable level of pain, and then
probably,
some
like,
soothing.
the most painful experience of your life so far. Like
Probably.
can compare to just being doused in just horrifying black acid like this.
So he is. Just mostly like he would be thankful for the healing, but I think he is still mostly engulfed by awful pain. So he is going to like move towards this creature, like around to where it's trying to escape from, and he's just going to swing repeatedly down at this thing. That's like a 27, even with the minus.
Yeah.
Which occurs a second minus. 12 damage.
12 damage.
And then it's well into the 20s. Oh, I actually roll reasonably well. 16 damage.
16 damage. All right. This thing is like basically a puddle at this point. Like it's sort of lying on the floor, kind of shifting away, trying to get back in its hole.
He's just like roaring at it.
Yeah. And so it's retreating quite heavily and is going to actually retreat the entirety of the rest of the way into the hole. It's just
Can I get another attack?
Well, I think technically yes. because you will have had to like move slightly closer to be able to hit it. So back into
Yes.
main.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. That is like a 26 with the minuses. Oh, 9, 11, 16 damage.
And so while this creature gave Makud one of the most painful experiences of his life, Makud returned that pain doubly so, so much so that the creature is now dead, lying defunct and no longer acidic at the bottom of the pool, slipping back out like a black goo that is no longer sentient or exists in any way.
Revenge.
He is like howling and just repeatedly smashing the remains of the goo as it just sort of splatters about on the tunnel.
And there goes the stealth check.
And I think that's where we'll end it, just because I know Dylan's got to escape and whatnot.
Yeah, no, that was a great session, guys. But I'm